name is Scott Ringett, and I have worked in the industry for a while, and I think it's time for a massive change. Thank you for the Board of Education in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, for being able to listen to my speech. We need to be learning better, and here is a way we can start. A pilot program is a program that is like a test, and if the test can improve students drastically, I think we should keep this program. So it's just a test for now. An improved school schedule is something that needs to be changed, as everything else around us has been changing, but the way we learn. As your parents were taught, the same way kids are being taught today. Everything in life has been changing, but school has not changed in over a century, and it's time to start. Now, the first change should be the scheduling. I will talk to you guys today about the current schedule and what the schedule would look like what the proposed schedule will look like. The current school schedule consists of 196 days of school from September 1st to June 30th. They need to get 194 days of school during that period of time. And the current day schedule, what a regular day would look like, its supervision begins at 8:35, like you can see in this right here, and class entry bell is at 8:45, and then classes would begin at 8:50. Lunch would be at 8:35, and then the entry bell after lunch would be 12:45, and then 12:50 classes begin. 3:05 the school day ends, and at 3:20 supervision ends. So their kids need to get picked up. And if your kid is unable to get picked up at that 3:20 time, they would then enter daycare, or in the mornings if you have to drop them off earlier, they would also enter a daycare from the school. And studies from Education Week state kids who attend before and after programs tend to be more advanced in reading, writing, and math, so your three major criterias in school. And there's a graph right here showing the amount that it would cost to add another teacher so they can have longer school and classrooms, or and how much it costs for a child to stay in a daycare, and how much it costs for 10 children to stay in a daycare, and how much it costs for a full class, like the average size classroom, which is 22 students. And as you can see, if they were to just add 2 more teachers, it would cost $100,000. And if they were to have a full classroom in the daycare, they're making $391,000 a month. So the balance, no, $391,000 for the whole year. So the balance would even out. More educational daycare would be ideal. It would be able to teach kids skills like how to interact with people, how to control their emotions, and other things that you don't learn in class that you would need to learn to be able to succeed in the outside world. To implement these into a school system would make the school days longer, and it would be perfect for better education, and they would be able to learn more. As studies show from Cadence that students age 6 are able to retain the most knowledge, and why don't we take advantage of that and teach them the most at those young ages, instead of them fooling around and playing and wasting time. It is nice to have fun time, but you also need to be learning at the peak of your brain function. Canada has very similar education compared to the US, and Canada ranks in the top 4 countries for education, and has the closest gap between the highest and lowest average gap in performing students. US has 16 less days and the same hours per day. Therefore, Canadian students get 128 hours per year, and that's 1,536 hours extra of school time before they graduate. Canada has, and also information from Education Week states that Canada has better teaching, better basic service, and much smaller difference in funding from school to school, as there is no there is no A, AA, AAA, it's all the same. and most consistent in curriculum, which also helps all the students learn the same amount. Education in Canada compared to Japan. Japan is known as the best education in the world. They have an average IQ 10 points higher than Canada in the education system, according to Leverage EDU. The school year runs from April to March, and the following year, so they are all year round, and they have 3 breaks. They have 3 breaks of 1 month, which 1 month in July to September, they have 1 month in December to January, and they have 1 month in February to March. They spend 240 days at school while spending roughly 6 hours, and are Monday through Friday, and sometimes they go on Saturday. That is why their education is so much greater than most other countries. And here's a graph showing all the stats. As we saw the stats, that Canadian students have a higher IQ than American students, and Japan has a higher IQ than Canadian students, I think it goes to show that the more time students are in class, the more they will learn, and the more their IQ will, and the higher their IQ will be. Also, I think the school should be 8 to 5, so parents are able to manage their time a little bit better and don't need to send them to daycare where they won't be learning as much. Rather, they can go learn soft skills and important skills that they'll need to know in the real world. And here's the schedule that will be 240 days long, and here's like what it would look like on a day-to-day basis. That is the school schedule that I propose, and the school system can be improved, and it's time for us to make a step in that direction. That's why I proposed that pilot program to see how much this could help kids. Even if this is just a 1-year trial and we take stats, or we can make it a 5-year trial and see how much more kids would develop than in this school rather than other schools, to see if it's really worth that next step. Thank you.